Hey YouTube, it's Sam again. It's been a while since I've posted a video up. It's been a while since I've updated my tank or did anything to my tank. Just haven't been having the time to post any videos. Work, the house and kids and everything, so there's a lot that has changed in my tank. And as you can see, my tank is empty. It is fully disassembled. All the pipings are out, the overflows are out. Everything's fully disassembled, all the corals are gone, they were all sold. I sold everything inside it. All the fish, all the live rock. I sold my sump. I kept all my equipment since I have the highest end equipment so far. I got around $4,000 worth of livestock in my tank. The reason I'm tearing down my tank is I bought a house and I'm moving to a house now. And the setup that I'm going to be setting it up at the house is going to be way better than this setup. This setup was a sump and refugium built in underneath my stand. Now the new setup is going to be in a basement, and I'm going to plumb everything to the furnace room where the sink is, and I could plan on doing automatic water changes, having a dedicated refugium tank, and I could have a dedicated sump area. So this video is just an update on what I did so far. I'm going to be making a detailed video on how to set up an aquarium, on how I will be purchasing my live rock. I'm going for a dead rock, not live rock, dead rock. This way I could control what I put in my tank, what good and bad stuff. And I'll get into that later on why I'm putting dead rock versus live rock. There's a big difference between them. And also man-made rock, why it's better than live rock in the ocean. Not only that, I also siliconed my tank, re-siliconed it. Let me get to show you guys. The reason I re-siliconed it is re-siliconed it all nice inside. I re-siliconed it because it's going back to reinstall, and might as well, right? Since you're putting it back. The type of silicone that I used was reef safe. It's the GE 1200. That's what the manufacturer uses to build my tank. This tank is a marine land tank. That's originally what the manufacturer used, and that's originally what I'm going to put back into the tank. I paid around 15 bucks a tube. I used 2 tubes to reseal it. I made the silicone extra thick and chunky. I cleaned the tank with acetone. Before that, when I tore down my system, I also remembered to tell you guys. The reason I got it so clean is I bleached the system. After taking all my live rock, all my fish, all my sand out, I bleached and vinegared the system. First, I put the vinegar to take all the coralline algae, and after that, I used bleach to disinfect the tank from all the algae. Now, the vinegar will peel off the coralline algae. Over here, there was a lot of buildup. I really didn't care as much. As long as all the piping and everything is clean, that's what you should be worried about, and all the silicone and all the edging. I professionally wrapped my stand, and I professionally wrapped my tank for the move. I also wrapped, this is my canopy right here. I also professionally wrapped that. All my equipment's underneath there. My skimmer is here. Some parts right there. Got a lot of stuff here. All my lights are in this bin right here. Like, I gotta tell you, this bin has $3,000 worth of stuff in it. between my Vortex pumps to my lighting. I got a lot of equipment underneath there. There's a lot of stuff that I have of equipment. I'm gonna do a setup video, a future setup video from day one, how to cycle the tank and all that, and how I'm going to be aquascaping, why I'm going to be aquascaping in that way, why am I going to be making a refugium, a dedicated refugium. I don't want any problems in the future, and to prevent those problems you have to set up your tank the proper way. And the proper way that I've learned out of all this years of experience is the way that I'm going to set it up. Very good for water flow. You need a lot of water flow in a tank this size. So my plan is, before my tank was set up, I have 2 holes drilled on each side of the overflow. And these 2 holes are 2 lines in and 2 lines out. The way I'm going to reset up my tank is I'm going to make four of my holes that are drilled into the tank are going to be for the overflows. And the way I'm going to plumb my water in is from the top. In my new basement there's going to be a wall, and I'm going to drill a hole in the wall, in my drywall, and run pipes into my tank. This way I want more water flow. I want to triple the volume of water coming into the tank. They always say double the water in salt water. I want to triple it. The faster the water flow is, the better it is for your tank, the healthier it is for your tank. This way you get to clean stuff out better, faster. Get all the nutrients out, in and out. You need, the faster the water flow, obviously, the bigger the sump and the bigger the refugium is supposed to be. And the bigger your equipment is supposed to be. And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on getting a good skimmer, better than one that I have. I plan on getting a bigger pump to pump out as much as water flow I need to pump this tank. As you can see, the silicone that I did is very well done. Basically empty tank. It hurt my heart to part this tank out, but it is what it is. If you think about it, moving everything in one day and setting it up is impossible. I would put so much stress on my system. I would kill everything, guaranteed. Even how good of a hobbyist you are, even though how long you've done this, or even if you hire the best crew, you will still kill a couple corals here and there and stress out your fish. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a clean setup, and you can't rush into stuff like this. You could never rush into the setup. You gotta take it slow. You gotta put your sand in. You gotta make sure your plumbing is good. You gotta make sure your aquascaping is good, because once your aquascaping is good, you never have to put your hand in the tank and fiddle around with your rocks. Oh, one day you come over, you find one side is tumbled down because you aquascaped wrong. Why not do it right from the beginning? Why not secure it into place and cement it down into place and make sure it's 100% there? And you could do whatever design you want based on the aquascape. Not only that, if you aquascape very good, you will never have problems of nitrates or phosphates or any nuisance or detritus or anything that could harm your tank in the future. The best way is good flow, good aquascaping. Don't let any debris get trapped in the back. Make sure you have a very good skimmer that pumps up all the waste. Make sure you're running a micron socks to get all that debris out. If you're running a biopellet reactor, make sure your biopellet reactor is plumbed to the protein skimmer to get all the waste out. There's a lot of stuff that comes into key with filtration and setup. A lot of people want to set up the best tank, and they make a big mistake by going and purchasing the most expensive fish, the most good looking corals. People don't understand when they get home and they put these corals in their tank. A month, 2 months, 3 months later, these corals don't look the same as when they purchased it from a store or when they purchased it from somebody's tank. The reason for that is for the setup. If you know what you're doing, you will definitely get a good tank. You will definitely get a good looking tank, or good looking corals, or bright colored corals. That all comes into key where aquascaping, flow, nitrates, nitrites, ammonia, all the chemistry and science, even the lighting, what is your power rating, what is the temperature, what coral is happy where in your tank, does the coral like the sand, does the coral like too much light or very little light. That all has to you got to put all that into consideration. There's a lot of guys on YouTube that think that they know what they're doing, and they tell people to do this and do that, and people go do this, but they don't benefit out of it. You really gotta listen to one guy and one guy only. Take a look at people's tanks and see what they have. If they have any problems, then don't. I would suggest not listening to them. But if they don't have any problems and they're succeeding, then they are the people that I would listen to and take advice from. That's what I did. I made big mistakes when I started the hobby. I took so much advice from people. I would go to a fish store and they would tell me do this, and I'll go to another fish store, they'd tell me do that. So I would combine everybody's ideas and make a cocktail out of it, and I would be the one that would suffer at the end, because I was putting all that ideas into one tank, and I was suffering at the end because I wasn't getting the best benefits. But when I made it very simple, and I took one guy's idea and I took a lot of YouTubers' ideas and a lot of tanks ideas, and I combined it, and I said, okay, a lot of people are doing this, so that means this is right. And then when you start looking at the chemistry, and then you start seeing changes and you start seeing a better tank, then you know you're doing a right thing. You just got to be patient. This hobby needs a lot of patience, a lot of time. Life is long. It needs a lot of patience. So stay tuned. In the future, I will be taking this seriously on setting up my tank and doing a video on it. I do really want to show you guys how to properly set up a tank and the proper setup, and why I should do this and why I should do that. I'm not going to give you guys a lot of bullshit. I'm going to give you the straight stuff. No bullshit like other fucking guys on YouTube. Some people are ridiculous. So stay tuned.